know the frustration of trying to figure out how to make your speech a good speech. Our next speaker had the same problem and spent many years in Toastmasters trying to find out the solution to creating good speeches. One day he had a discussion with his mentor that transformed his approach to making speeches. Today, you'll learn about that approach. Discover a whole new way to look at speeches and find out how easy it is to create a good speech. And now, please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Mr. Tim Wilson.
If you weren't here before, one thing you learned last time is that in order to create a good speech, you need to have 4 acts. There are 4 acts to your speech. Just as a play commonly has 4 acts, so your speech is 4 acts. And those acts are the A act, the C act, the T act, and the S act. 4 different acts. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, A, C, T, S. Make sense? Sort of. Decent guys. Okay. Pat's going along. Okay. Good. Kyle. Good. All right. So today you're going to find out about the A act. The very first thing you do at the beginning of your speech. And it's something that, if you get this wrong, right at the very beginning, you've got a problem. Because your speech isn't really going where you want it to go. And maybe you've had this sort of situation or experienced a situation, maybe you live in the audience, where you just thought, I don't know what it is, but something just isn't clicking. Something just isn't working. I'm talking about you, and you're like, it's not really quite getting there. You know, they're really trying hard, but somehow it's not working. And that's what happens when you don't get the A act right. The very first thing you do. Once you do get that A act, that beginning act correct, then things start to flow. Then you get more confidence. Then you start to kind of become in harmony with you and your audience. Start to kind of become more one and not just 2 separate things. And what that all is about is first getting the audience's attention. Attention. A act is all about attention. The first thing you want to do is get people's attention. In fact, and you may have heard this before, but that some people say you've got 30 seconds to get your audience attention. Others say it's as little as 15 seconds. Whatever it is, at the very beginning, you've got to get the audience attention. Otherwise, you don't make that connection. If you don't make that connection afterwards, they're busy, they're doing other things, they're thinking other things. Attention, attention, attention. It is so crucial. So, this is what I learned from Bob. I was in a Starbucks, and Bob, my mentor, tall guy, blonde hair, nice guy, professional speaker. We get together every now and then and talk about speaking. And he was talking about the importance of attention. So I started drilling attention. And you've got to get their attention. I said, okay, Bob, great. I've got to get their attention, but how do I do it? How do I get their attention? So there's a simple thing you can do. It's powerful, it's simple. You may think it's not a big deal, but just try it and see what happens. Okay, Bob, I'll try it. So what is it? And that's when Bob told me something I've used to this day. The words he said then just kind of transformed my approach to speaking, made me approach things in a different way, do it a different way. Simple, powerful technique you can use for yourself. What he said was, Tim, make sure you use the you. Now, about now, please just thinking, what? What the heck is this about? Use the you? What is this idiot talking about out there? Some sort of foreign language? May we use the you? I mean, is it French or something? What does that mean? Good question. Glad you asked. Here's the thing. I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. For right now, just think of it this way. And maybe you've had this experience as a speaker on stage. If you've ever been on stage as a speaker, and you started to talk and you notice that you're not making that connection with your audience, something is just going wrong, maybe they're yawning, maybe they've had a late night, whatever it is, you know you're not making that connection. And because of that, you start thinking, I'm not quite doing it. There's something going wrong here. So you go more and more what you're doing, and then you make the connection less and then less, and after a while you're like, people are just checking, they're watching, they're doing things. It's not working for you on stage. Have you ever been in that situation? Pat has. Craig rivets him every time. Craig has had a challenge. You know what you're talking about. It's a tough audience. And it happens. And maybe if you haven't had that happen, maybe you can relate more to this. You're in the audience. You're going through and you listen to the speaker and you're thinking, I don't know, it just isn't working for me. You know, and you pull out the PDA, you start looking at it and saying, what's going on here? Ooh, yeah, Facebook. Good time to Facebook my friends, maybe a little Skype, a little chatting, fantastic. Then you got an iPad. You pull up the iPad and start looking at it and say, what's going on in the New York Times today? Oh, yeah, look at that. Stocks are up. Cool, all right, awesome. And you just completely disengage from the speaker because it's just not working. That connection doesn't happen. Have you ever had that happen? Yeah, that happens too. And if you think about it, it's like there's this barrier between you and your audience. This huge barrier between you and your audience. So you're the speaker talking up here, and the audience is talking up there. There's this huge barrier between you. And here's what's happening. I mentioned using the you. When you normally use words like I and we, a lot of people use this, ourselves, these sort of things, it's like you're both forcing your audience to look through a window. It's like you're looking through a window. The speaker is kind of describing things. You're saying, oh, I get what the speaker's talking about. If you want, you can take a look through the window with them. It's like, oh yeah, I get what they're talking about. Their life, their things, their stuff. Nothing to do with me, but I get it. It's over there. It's on stage. It's what they're talking. Fine. But the thing about a window is anytime you want, you can look away, right? You just look away. It's like, oh, I don't care about that. Oh, maybe I'll look back. Maybe I won't. Maybe get distracted by something else. So that's the problem about eyes and we. But if you use the word you, it transforms everything. It's like the audience is right next to the speaker. It's like the audience is right there on stage, right next to you. You're just having a chat together. You are the one. The whole stage barrier disappears just by using the word you. Because all of a sudden you're thinking, talking about me. This is relevant to me. This matters to me. This is important to me. And if they say things and they use the word you, and it happens to do with you, and it's important to you, and it's important to the speaker, you're thinking, hey, we're together in this thing. It's like they're right next to you. And when that happens, what happens is that barrier, just smash that barrier entirely by using the word you and the power of you. And it's simple. So when I started doing this, and started using the word you, things started getting better. All of a sudden, I started making that connection with the audience much more quickly, much more easily, much more simply. Once you do that, you'll notice all of a sudden that people look at you differently once you use the word you, because all of a sudden, well, talking to me. And maybe for some people, maybe in the audience, it's the first time any speakers ever actually talked to them about something relevant to them in a way that matters to them. And use that word you. Now don't just say, you do this and you do that. That's the way to turn off adults. You tell people what you do this, you do that. Invite them in. Have you ever? Did you ever? Could you ever? If you've never. Find ways to invite people in by using the word you. And then quickly, you make that audience connection. Quickly, you make that connection happen. Powerful. It's simple. And once you do that, pressure goes off. Because you aren't anymore lecturing people. You're having a conversation. People are included. They're part of it. It's about you. Not about me. It's about you for your benefit. I'm simply the one kind of channeling here, and you're right here next to me going through that experience. And that happens. Life on the stage gets enjoyable. And if you do a lot of speaking or presentations, even that lessens the pressure, lessens the worry. As you know, Kyle, you can be worried up there on stage. It's not a big deal. It's not a lecture anymore. You're just inviting people in, sharing, having a conversation instead of lecturing. That transforms everything and takes it to a whole new level. So once you start doing that, then you get the audience attention when you use the word you. But once you do that, you use the word you, you've got the audience attention, you're pulling everybody in, here comes a challenge. Okay, great, I got their attention, but what do I talk about? And a lot of people have this challenge. What do you talk about when you're up there on stage? How do you really focus on what you should be talking about? What's a good subject? And that really gets into the C act. Once you get their attention with the first act, then the C act comes next, and you find out more about how to get their attention, how to pull them in, how to make sure that you keep your own attention. And there's a little trick to it, how you keep your own attention and still keep focused and still keep speaking, speech after speech after speech, and still get interested in it. There's a way to do that. We'll talk more about that when we talk about the C act in a couple of weeks.